What's a dead giveaway that someone doesn't have a life? Hobbies. Some folks basically have none. Now, some are cash-based. Some are a desire for a simpler life. Some just have long work hours and little time for things. But there are people that just don't seem to have, well, anything. Like the question, what do you do for fun? Is a difficult question to answer, or the answer is incredibly generic and common, like watch TV. Like, is there anything that really excites you? A passion? And they don't really have anything. I find where people choose to put their time, energy, and money tells you a lot about them. You can tell a lot about a person by the kind of anecdotes they share. Typically, people with a healthy social life will tell stories about other people in their lives: kids, spouses, friends, even coworkers. The thing that ties together everyone without a life is that their anecdotes are never about people, or at least, people they know. Maybe they talk about TV, maybe politics, celebrities, whatever. But since they never socialize, they're lacking the fundamental human experience of swapping stories about each other. Biggest sign is usually when someone tries to find something about someone to complain about them. These people are everywhere. Nosy neighbors, coworkers, friends who snoop to find something to complain about. The way I see things, if you aren't hurting me or someone else, I don't care what you do. Want to dress as a clown and come to work? I don't care. Want to rip up your lawn and plant a garden? I don't care. Want to complain to me about something? Go away. Want to complain about me specifically? Well, go away. Getting involved in drama or meaningless arguments constantly, often online. I'm all for a good back and forth once in a while on Reddit, Instagram, etc., but I follow people whose entire day seems to consist of getting into an argument, screenshotting it, relaying evidence of said argument to their story, and then repeating the cycle. Even worse when it's an absolute non-issue as well. I saw someone have a meltdown under a meme taking the piss out of British food because of the classism it displayed. Probably when they're always envious of everyone that may be doing better than they are. And I'm talking hateful jealous, not that I wish I had a car like that, judgmental jealousy that they bought that car. What a waste. I would have bought that car too if I wanted to, but I don't like to waste my money. They're not even that great, they don't deserve that kind of money type of jealousy. Cause if you're that hung up on other people's lives, then you're not busy enough to worry about your life. Making drama everywhere they go and then saying, why is my life full of drama? Like, bitch, it's not, you just make it that way. Knew a gal who would try and start drama and tell secrets and air out people's laundry to me. It just say shit like, sounds like that's someone's personal stuff. I wouldn't go around telling people that, or that doesn't sound like drama, just a normal progression in life. Just shut them down and let them know it's not cool, and I refuse to play along. Define life. Some people's life choices are looked down upon by others, even though there is nothing wrong with them. For example, a social butterfly might look down on an introvert that plays a lot of games, even though that introvert may be perfectly happy with their situation. A person that posts on Reddit, or just reads it a lot, or makes memes or whatever, may be enjoying that activity, and there is nothing wrong with doing so. There's quite a lot. At my dad's work, his boss set up CCTV. Basically, his boss watches my dad to make sure he's doing his work. Also was once at a group session where they helped to improve your CV. There was an adult guy talking to the woman running the session about video games. He was talking about Arma 3 and spending 12 real-life hours playing the game. Talking about military tactics and shit to a woman who couldn't care less. Some old people near us. He became a local counselor to object to anybody building anything. Jed washes the car every day despite very rarely going anywhere, and became obsessive about the lawn. The wife literally washes clothes all day long just for something to do. Has formed for antisocial behavior locally and has made himself a pariah. Sad to see. Your post just reminded me of the news of Kyle J and Timothy Chalamet kissing in a concert. Some of his fans are spending hours just trying to find facts that prove that it's a PR movement, that Jenner stalked the guy, and other insane theories that could show that their beloved indie artist is not dating a Kardashian. A life. Everybody has a life. You may think having a life is something like how the phrase gets used in high school, e.g. do you have friends, get laid and go to parties. Others may define having a life as reading good books, spending time with family, and pursuing a boring hobby like gardening or puzzling. One is not more right than the other. Depends on your definition of what a life is. Everyone's going to have a different one, and thus a different opinion on exactly what they feel you should be doing less of and getting a life instead. Most people just use it as an insult towards people that are more knowledgeable or skilled at something than them. Always know what's going on with everyone else, and actively talking, gossiping about it, but never one to talk about what isn't going on in their own lives. Quick to volunteer information about others, but get mad when information about them is discussed and their privacy is betrayed. They just work and sleep and are super stressed, barely coping with just work alone 8 hours a day with no family, friends, social life, nothing. Just work, eat, sleep and be super stressed about everything, on the verge of breakdown. Unfortunately, this is a lot of people. They use followers and likes as a way to feel superior. Crying face, crying face. I know someone has no life when they get in an argument and says the person with the 0 followers as an insult. Like you spend all day on your phone making 10 seconds videos. Why are you proud of that? As someone who doesn't have a life, I frequent Facebook. I hate it. But it's my little personal newspaper. People post a lot of stuff on there, and I soak it up like a sponge. Not because I actually care, I'm just lonely with no social life. Lamau. Going out of your way to find people, on the internet, who live harmlessly different lives that you don't agree with just so you can tell them how much they disgust you. Who wakes up and is like, Valp, time to bully some weirdos. A lady I worked with took a couple days out of her holiday to loiter outside some police station in Portugal to catch a glimpse of the McCanns after they were being questioned years ago. Always thought that was pretty tragic. You don't have a life, you are a life. You can't own what you are. The question is more about a life situation and that you can change, if you want. But it screams desperation, if you see the same questions asked before. Hanging outside of Planned Parenthood locations with anti-abortion pro-birth signage, jeering and interrupting people just trying to get health care. Hanging out anywhere with an anti-abortion sign. Really. I make the odd Instagram, Facebook life update posts, nothing serious, just celebrating things. It's always the same people who like and comment first, usually within seconds, like they were waiting for it. They claim that their small child, like 12 and under, is their best friend. FFS, be an adult, find someone your own age, and stop projecting. You can have them as a best friend when they're an adult, posting pictures of meals they cooked for themselves at home on social media. I did it when I was single and ready to mingle. I'm now married with kids, and I don't post on any of my social media when they assume that everyone else is just like them and doesn't have a life. Guy at my work is constantly shocked if I tell him I left my house for something other than work or groceries. My manager gets mad at anyone who takes time off and complains about them the whole time they're gone. Sorry, you don't have a life. Other people do. Maybe you should try it sometime. They fill their life with meaning through conspiracy theories such as QAnon and bet their entire future on something wonderful which is about to happen any day now, such as Nazara. They're overly concerned and complain about what other people do, regardless of the fact that it's none of their business and probably doesn't even affect them in the slightest. Yesterday, a guy threatened to tell on me if I didn't stop taking leftovers home from the college dining hall. He said he felt I was stealing from the dining hall by doing so. They are probably just heartbroken and depressed, but I guess that's not a lot of fun, right? Who cares that somebody doesn't have a life? What's it to you anyway? Might be downvoted heavily, but having unnaturally strong stances on Reddit ideologies that no normal person really cares about. Stuff like atheism or circumcision. Worrying about what others do with their life. I think if someone is obsessed with what someone else does, they don't have anything in their own life going on. Someone who unironically says work is fun, we should all be grateful to work, and plugs in 3 extra hours at work every day and ignores their loved ones at home. When they trash on everyone for things that they can't control. You have freckles. They look like zits. Like, bro, you look like a puny horse. Shut the hell up. The more often that I see someone in the bank. Yes, some people do have valid reasons for being in the bank every day, but there are plenty who don't. Being available all day long without it being tiring or bothering, also without any need to know important job or something, aka something I'm doing. Extremely dirty gaming station. Piss bottles. Cigarette butts everywhere. Genuinely, I find grimy, messy people are usually losers with no life. I'm unaware of how to gauge it because, to be completely candid, I have no life. And I don't necessarily consider that a bad thing most days. Tinner's extra strobe blogger at 8 AM Monday morning sat outside an office while the normies get their socially accepted fixes of choice. They spend their time on Reddit asking Redditors what their opinion is on what might be a dead giveaway that someone doesn't have a life. Poor hygiene. If you actually have a goof and normal social life, your friends or family would be afraid to tell you that you stink. The weirdo politics people. If your political leaning is your personality, Get over yourself and make friends with different people. Chronically online people who will find anything and everything to be offended about on their own behalf or someone else's behalf. Trying to spark up conversation with every stranger they come across, even if it's obvious that person is trying to ignore them. They recall the time they just sit home watching TV. Talking with them you realize they no passion for anything. When they list the things they find very important or are obsessed by that for other people wouldn't think twice about it. Terminally online people posting fringe political views that would get them laughed out of a room in real life. They talk about sports teams they're not on as we had a good season and we need to get better at defense. Always up in everyone's business and gets annoyed and passive aggressive if you don't give more than one word answers. People who go on Omegle similar sites and spend hours on end. Source: I used to be like that and I had no life. Someone who has time all day every day. When you respond to every text, comment, post, promptly, at all hours. If someone thinks gossiping and talking shit about other people is a personality, they probably have no life. When their GitHub activity chart is all green when they show you it on their phone while you are having sex. Their weekend recap at the office water cooler largely consists of their accomplishments in a video game. I swear I've seen this same post a few weeks ago. Which means I'm way too much on Reddit. They dress like me, walk, talk and act like me and just might be the next best thing but not quite me. People who post Facebook status to let us all know how much of a life they have. Yeah, I don't buy it. Transphobia. Those guys got girl dick on their minds constantly and think trans people are the issue. Constantly complaining. Especially if they make drama out of something that really doesn't matter. Social media. Some people depend on it because it's what carries the only reputation they have. Attempting to uphold their side of an argument when they clearly have no grasp of the facts.